look in the eyes of my brother without shedding a tear for my brother. I really want to try for my brother.
Yo!
I love it every time.
What it is? What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the InforMILLy Honest Podcast. It's your one of your co-hosts right here, Josh. We got Aaron.
You.
We got Marcus.
What's up? One of the quadrants.
and we got the Adobe Master, Adam.
What's up, Master Editor?
So just so you know, I have to big up you like every episode because you do so much, and if for no other thing, I'm gonna make sure you get all the praise and credit that you deserve and all the work that you do on this podcast, man. So I want to make sure that gets acknowledged.
Thanks, man.
That's very, very true. I'm glad you took some time out to acknowledge that for real.
Absolutely.
Props to the homie.
Because
slow clap.
Because it is really that thing where I'm like, the outside world gets to appreciate all of this stuff and they get to move on and all that kind of stuff. But over here, we don't have them snippets without Adam. We don't have them beautiful graphics on the audio files without Adam. We don't have any of that. And so Adam, by all means, you get all of this metaphorical loving. And so it took everything in me not to make a dick joke right there.
I was about to say, don't kill us in the comments. Don't kill us in the comments.
So I go, get off his dick.
Yeah, man, it's fun.
Oh, man.
So it's no hassle.
Oh man, appreciate it. Welcome back, y'all. Welcome back. It's a love fest around here always. If you are joining us for the first time, we are four brothers from Gary, Indiana, who have had a friendship since the early 90s, late 90s, mid 90s, one of them, somewhere in the 90s. And we pride ourselves on keeping this connection alive through having really candid conversation, being forthright, vulnerable, and most of all, honest.
Right.
And so, before we get anything kicked off, fellas, it's another week. The sun is shining. Masks should still be on. Probably aren't because people are mad fucking irresponsible. Spikes in coronavirus are happening and people act like it's not. But otherwise, how are you?
Man, I'm keeping it cool. I've been well, bro.
How long that pause was.
There's always a pause in
that. I've been well, man. Currently spending way too long working on this new little art piece that I got. I am designing a sketch of my girlfriend, something very simple, almost like Matisse sketches, kind of in that idea. And then
I'm gonna nod my head like I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. So Henri Matisse, the artist, the painter, he did a lot of sketches of like women, and it focused a lot on it was just very simple contour sketches, which I really admire. And I'm kind of doing a little something like that of my own, of my girl, and then she's gonna embroider it. So we are trying to get a collaboration, one of our first collaborative efforts. On a one piece, yes. I'm spending way too long on that as usual. It's a simple fucking. I'm actually using Adobe. I'm doing it on Adobe.
Okay.
Yeah, which is this new. All right, bro. So remember when we were doing all our shit back in the day, and paint was the shit. I thought the paint was, bro. Fucking with this new Adobe Illustrator is way too complicated. I can't even erase. You have to specifically pinpoint the particular part of the line. You have to click on the particular line segment that you need before you can erase. You can't just go in and erase like you should normally be able to do.
Yeah.
Every other moment of the day.
Yes.
When you're on Adobe, it's way too complicated, man. Anywho, your boy is doing good, man. And Atlanta has officially put into effect a mask mandate, like a mask wearing mandate. So
Yeah.
we are wearing masks over here.
Ain't the
Chill,
mayor?
man.
Ain't the mayor? Didn't she test positive like recently?
Yeah, she came out about it. Yeah, she's been cool about that, man. She's actually, I think, part of how she's handled the virus thus far has put her as a running mate for vice president if Joe Biden becomes president.
What's her name again?
Bottoms?
Keisha Lance Bottoms.
I just know her last name.
Oh, that's Keisha.
Yeah,
Lance
because that's
Bottoms.
the important part.
I've heard of Keisha Lance Bottoms, but I couldn't remember who she was, what have you. And I knew that she was a potential candidate because Charlamagne would talk about it all the time.
Yeah.
I think
So
if
she
I'm not
went
mistaken.
against my bad. She went against the governor. Actually, several mayors have gone against the governor's requests on like and creating the actual mask requirement as a mandate as opposed to just encouraging people. He thinks encouraging has not worked. It's no more encouraging. Let's be a leader and require that shit,
Yeah.
So they're doing it.
Because Americans are arrogant. They, what was it? Somebody had a comedian back in the day. I can't remember who had a bit about like if you really wanted somebody to help like starving African children, you'd stop getting little white women to go, hey guys, for 11 cents, you get like some dude in a leather jacket going like, hey, you fuckface. Hey, see how fucking hungry these kids are? Yo, feed these fucking kids.
I heard that before. I can't think of who said it though. That's gonna kill me.
It might have been Louis.
I do.
Maybe it was.
Yeah, probably.
It might have been Louis. I can't remember.
Anywho, you get it's a possible fine of $75 at least the first time if you get caught. Now, and I think restaurants, I think they sent out all the necessary information to like restaurants and public place, like buildings and whatnot, offices and whatnot, to give them the option to refuse service if somebody walks in and wants to, be on that foo-foo. So I think
Marco,
that's where we're
doing?
at right now.
I'm sorry.
All good.
Marco, how you doing?
I'm doing good, man. I'm doing all right. I got all that news about the coronavirus, man. It's putting a damper on my vacation plans. Supposed to go to New Orleans, but it's not looking too good down there right about now.
Yeah, dog.
Nah.
So I'm just trying to stay informed on that situation.
Right.
I sound like a news reporter.
Yeah. Yo, the winds are coming in from the southeast. If you do, man, if you get like a layover or whatever sometime in Atlanta, holla at me.
Just be careful with traveling anyway, man.
Yeah.
Airport's got a whole lot of shit going on, and if you go anywhere, you got to be quarantined for 2 weeks.
True. Yeah,
I heard about
that. That's what my girl are doing before we come up in August. Back to the I. Y'all know it. I was just inspired, man. It came from the top. This is present moment. This is stand-up comedy, man.
It's not a complete contradiction to your earlier statement, but it's a hell of a callback. If you don't know what he's talking about, then you should go listen to the older episode.
Y'all haven't heard the Indie Animal song?
No, I haven't.
Check that out, man. I can't even describe it. It's just it's another Indiana song. It's an Indiana movement.
It's to be experienced. That's it.
Adam, what's going on in your world?
Not much. Let's see. Got a anniversary coming up in a couple weeks.
Oh, Tony, come on.
But, yeah, we don't really have much planned. Just like kind of what Marcus was saying. Just things are just weird. So I think we're gonna just do something super just chill, like just and then next year, hopefully, when like things are better, then we'll try to like do something big because this year is actually our 10th year.
I was going to ask, man. That's a big deal. Got
Damn,
that
bro.
Takada under your belt. Woo! That's strong, man.
Yo, time really does fly. I know people say that shit all the time, like a cliche, but damn.
Yeah, it does.
Already been 10 years. That is, I can still see us looking all spiffy at the ceremony at where I said at least 27 words with 7 syllables in my best man speech, and then there was performances and everything. It looked like Zamunda, and so
that's funny.
Yeah, that was a cool day, man.
Congratulations to you and
was.
Kirsten on y'all 10-year anniversary, man. That's a big milestone.
Yes, sir.
And also,
Right.
I don't know if I should bring this up.
You can cut it out.
Yeah, we'll see if it fits. So
that is what she said. All right. Y'all know it. I'm done.
That's pretty.
He's heating up.
But no, like, so last episode I said that Amy Winehouse passed away on our anniversary, but it was actually, she passed away on Kirsten's birthday, which happens to be the day before our anniversary, which is the 23rd. So just a little mix up there, but I mean, one day off isn't.
Yeah, that's pretty.
And that's actually
a lot of stuff happening.
And that's actually also my sister's birthday as well. My oldest sister, April. Her and Kirsten has the same birthday. So, which is very interesting because
do they have like character traits that are similar?
Yeah, they do. That's actually what I was about to say, which is interesting because they actually, I mean, a few traits, but they definitely are like both very, I guess you could say, adventurous in books and stuff like that. That world is like definitely both of them. So yeah. So yes,
I love when you can say books as a descriptor.
Yeah. It's like, certain people just read, it's just like,
yeah. Oh, I get it, because I'm not one of them.
Because for me, I read in spurts, like definitely like back when I was in the old military, like when I was deployed somewhere, I read a lot. Like I remember I read the Hunger Games series. I read the whole series in a week because I was like, it literally was nothing else to do, and they were pretty good. So
okay, I was about to ask you that because like I've read entire books in one night before, but just I had to be really gripped.
Yeah.
In it,
Yeah. For me, it's got to be the right book, and that's probably everybody would say it's got to be the right book, but for me, it's got to be just really like, because I can't read okay books. I'm gonna just get bored of it and not finish it. So it's got to be like Fight Club, like the movie, whatever. Like I read that book, and actually I read that in one shift at work because it's actually a short story, so it's not like 400 pages and anything. It's like one something, but that day at work it was like actually an exercise. We weren't doing anything because it was snowing, so we couldn't fly any jets or anything, so we were just sitting around. So I just read a book. So, but that's enough. I'm doing good. So
no, you good, because you brought up a couple things that's interesting. Is one factoid that I'm gonna say allegedly ahead of time because I don't know that it's completely true, but based on like context clues, it seems very true. One, because the stories are so similar, and two, white folks be stealing shit. And so have y'all heard of the film series Battle Royale?
Yeah.
I've
it was
heard
stole
of it,
from like a Japanese
yeah, so the whole thing is Battle Royale literally is the Hunger Games with slightly more dire circumstances, kind of like more realistically dire circumstances.
Okay.
Where instead of it being like a post-apocalyptic situation, what it is the adults,
kids, right?
Yeah, the adults of Japan have feel that the teenage population has gotten too bad. They've become too problematic, for lack of better terms, unruly, and And so what they did is they passed a law called the Battle Royale Act, where they'll pick a random class from the worst school in the country, and they'll take them off to a mountain and then make them all kill each other in the process of 3 days until one of them is left.
It's brutal too, man.
It's
I saw
real
the movie.
brutal. The movie is amazing. And so what the conspiracy is the homegirl saw that story and then just adapted it for an American audience by making it post-apocalyptic, making white heroes, all of that kind of stuff. But literally, the base of Hunger Games is stolen from a Japanese film.
Oh, I can believe.
I gotta.
Were they able? Legally, how were they able to do that? Like, did they change enough things around without getting like sued or anything?
Well, if it's Japanese, they don't have our copyright law, so I mean,
right.
I thought that was just like a universal thing whenever you're making films or music or whatever, because it's all under one big.
As soon as it's under as soon as it's in a different country, you got different international law. So bye.
True. Damn.
There are things there are aspects of it that are different, but they're virtually the same story. So it's not like the situation where like someone the person who wrote The Matrix did not get the money for the make of The Matrix.
I was just about to say like that the person who made The Matrix was a black lady.
Yeah.
And she claimed that she made the Terminator series also, like the first 2 or whatever. 2 or 3.
Mm-hmm.
Damn.
So all of those stories got stolen, but those have been in though I'm pretty sure she won
Conspiracy
the suit.
Corner.
Yeah, I'm sorry, take it. I'm pretty sure she won the suit for Matrix. I don't know if she did for Terminator, but yeah. And so that was just a random thought I had when you brought up reading The Hunger Games.
Yeah.
No,
I believe it.
But
I totally believe it.
Yeah. So by all means, go out. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Folks out there, go watch Battle Royale. It's on Netflix. Both. There's 1 and 2, and 1 especially. Go watch Battle Royale. It's a really, really good film, actually.
I will definitely do so, man.
Are they old? I mean, I'm assuming they're older. I mean, like what year time frame?
Give me a second.
Like it was maybe like 5 years ago. 4.
I feel like it was way.
I don't know the series.
Well, it had to be before because Hunger Games are about 5 years ago.
Series.
Well, Hunger Games was like 2013, 14.
Yeah, that's
2000 was when it came out.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense then. Yeah,
dang,
that makes sense.
It didn't seem that old, really.
Yeah, because I think I watched it in like 2009, 2010, something like that. I'm pretty sure Netflix had just become a streaming service when I watched it.
Yeah.
Man, Netflix has been around for a while, man.
Yeah, my parents were getting like the disc from them like when we were in high school.
DVDs, yeah.
And then then they went when they started the streaming service. We were still in high school when it actually started, but there was absolutely nothing on it worth watching. Like it was just a bunch of stuff you never heard of. And then I was like, whatever.
Yeah, it started getting better.
And then fast forward to today, it's like they're competing with HBO as far as being the most Emmy nominated network. And so it's like they grew.
HBO Max though is pretty solid.
Yeah.
HBO Max. Now, can someone tell me the difference between HBO Max and HBO Go?
I don't know.
I don't know
what is the difference. I don't get why they have 2 different services.
Maybe it's for the phone or whatever.
Yeah, I think Go's like a mobile app. I'm not sure, but
that's stupid.
Yeah,
just make Max the mobile.
I never heard of the Go.
Yeah,
I never heard of it.
Yeah. Okay, well.
They're pretty good, but their interface kind of sucks though. But we can move on. We ain't trying to
you're
right. We should move on. I was about to go into the whole Ozark show that we just finished and how incredible it is, man.
But, I like.
I haven't even gotten in Ozark.
I love it.
Yeah, we should go on. My
Ruth Langmore.
Okay,
she's one of my favorite characters on TV.
We can hash that out. That sounds like a good segment idea for another day. Is like.
Yeah.
What are you tuned in to? What do you ride real strong for as far as Netflix, Hulu, Amazon, Disney Plus,
idea.
My speaking of Disney Plus, my dad watched Hamilton and he can't stop talking about it as if it didn't exist for like 3 years. Which I get it. Like a lot of people are just seeing it. I watched it on bootleg like a year or two ago, and so like I've seen it.
Yeah, me either.
It's an amazing show.
Yeah.
It is incredible propaganda, but it is an amazing show.
I like the
You just gotta
Mandalorian.
Mandalorian is also great.
Great, man.
But let's get into what we actually came here to
I
talk
really like
about today.
watching. Keep bringing up shows.
But yeah.
So today's subject is we're going we should throw in the cut for what we call it. We really got to make a soundboard that at the top of "Don't Leave Me Girl" by Black Street. He's like, we're gonna go back
Way back.
back in time, way back. Today is a recollection episode, if you will. What's some of the stupid, ignorant ass thoughts, actions, and beliefs, etc., like experiences you had in your childhood that you like can still remember in excruciating detail? Not that you got to go into excruciating detail, but like paint the picture, explain why you held on to this. Okay, as long as it's entertaining. As Chappelle said, as long as it's interesting, doesn't matter how long it is, right? And so, like what? Tell me something. Tell me something you really recall.
All right, shit, I'm about to sweat. Look, check it out. Yo, somebody throwing a beat. All right. I
don't know why that came to mind.
Yo, I stick my teeth in the bite. All right. This is a super embarrassing moment of mine, man. With Miss Stanley, the lovely math teacher.
Come on,
at our
take
high
out
school.
your notebooks and date them.
Yes, Josh, I actually wonder if you remember this because you were the one of us actually in the class with me. That was the infamous day that my aunt showed up, and at that moment I couldn't answer anything. And she would call up. Do you remember that?
I don't at all.
So apparently, per usual, I was just running my mouth for talking shit or something. So my aunt felt the need to make a surprise visit, and I was terrified. And now I guess it's a shorter story, but it was very, very embarrassing for me because I was so embarrassed that like the answer I couldn't get was the world's easiest fucking answer, the easiest thing to answer. Miss Stanley looked at me. Now my aunt's sitting behind me, and I'm quiet as fuck. I'm quiet as a church mouse at the time. Like I felt so threatened. But I'm getting everything, and she says, "Aaron, what is 100% or 400?" Look, I know. I couldn't come up with the answer. I couldn't find the answer, bro. Josh, I was sitting right behind you. Yo, oh no! I think you were sitting I was sitting behind David.
I know I always sat to the side of you.
But, yeah, you're right.
But
that's what I could. I mean, it's a short story, but imagine
that don't even sound like a real question.
I can't believe I don't remember that. First of all, and secondly, there's no way that question happened, and I didn't immediately bust into laughter. And you not being able to.
Bro, everybody it was a fucking uproar. Everyone was laughing. And my stomach was just sinking lower and
everyone
lower
was unsettled
and lower. Bro, I sweat. It's safe to say I threw that fucking shirt away when I got home. I sweat that motherfucker out. And my aunt just tapped me on my shoulder like, you know the answer, doc. I raised you better than this. You know the fucking answer. I couldn't come up with whatever 100% or 400. I couldn't come up with it, dog.
I really want to hear your aunt say, "You know the answer, dog."
It was like, Aaron. And I'm like, it's your fucking fault. Leave it alone. You know what I'm saying? So then she finally just like, she gave me like a long sigh. Okay, we'll call on somebody else. I was like, I don't know it. It's obvious that I don't know it. Leave me the fuck alone. So I'll start it off with that excruciatingly embarrassing moment. And then obviously, I think the next day she asked me that shit in the middle of class when my aunt wasn't there. It was like, so today, do you know what 100% of 400 is? I was like, I do. I definitely do. So I didn't live that one down for a while, as you can imagine, bro. So I'll go ahead and kick it off with that and let y'all
I think
come up with
I
something.
think I definitely got a lot of those type of moments, but minus my parents being there, I'm sure that was very intense.
Woohoo! I was like, yo, if she pulled that belt out of her purse, I'm fucked.
Yeah,
I'm not gotta. Oh no, go ahead.
Now I wasn't gonna say the story or anything, but I was gonna say I don't know if there's a worse feeling than your parents coming up to the school. Like it's just
especially if you did something stupid.
Yeah.
Or doing something at the time.
What's fun? Why do you feel like implicit guilt when your parent is there? Like
It's
you know you ain't even done shit.
No,
and then
you start thinking it's like the cop. You start thinking like, dang, what did I do?
Yeah, I swear, bro. I swear.
Well, that
you
too.
put your fucking hands at 10 and 2. You put your hands at 10 and 2. I will not fuck up.
I'm saying like when you actually did something and they had to come up there. That's what I mean. Because for me, like for whatever reason, like although I was quiet, I got in trouble more than the quiet kid should have got in trouble, which is always weird.
I was about to say they were kind of petty, like at school for certain things. It's like other schools, they probably would have just been like, get out of here or something.
Yeah,
they were like kind of sensitive.
Bro, getting suspended for like walking down the hall with holding your significant other's hand or something was ridiculous, man.
Yeah.
See,
that's petty.
My lonely ass high school experience didn't involve that, and so that wasn't a life I lived.
But you know, some of us been groomed that way since Banneker, like having them strict. You know, our principal and our main teachers were very strict. Man.
She was
crazy.
Plus, we come from an era where we could get paddled, so I don't think these youngsters really know what that's like.
Man.
Yo, seeing paddles like the weapon choices on a video game. See him just scrolling past.
That's half inch.
You got tassels. You got wrapped in duct tape. You got the 6 holes for aerodynamics.
Right.
You catch Mr. Miller like dual wielding and shit.
Lightweight woods.
I'm just trying to figure out like
how tape and shit.
I'm trying to figure out how that was ever legal. Because when you think about it, like we're grown now. So I'm like, if I hit a kid with a paddle as hard as I could, like it shouldn't even be right. Because I would hurt somebody if I had a plank of wood that I was swinging as hard as I could after I just ate lunch. So I'm fully energized. Like
at the backside. And the thing is, especially
that should be illegal.
It's one thing if it's little kids. They were still paddling when me and Marcus were at Candy King.
Yeah.
These are teenagers.
Yeah.
And teenagers are assholes more than kids are. They'll look at you like they don't even
paddled in 9th grade.
No, I
mean, not me, but I'm saying like
they
were paddling in 9th grade.
People getting, and that's what I'm saying. Like
I would have been like, nah,
because I'm like at that age, you can just be like, no, like,
tell my mom.
Like I don't really get that the acceptance of that kind of punishment, or just a thing of like the challenge an adult has to feel at that point. Where you're like, if you paddle a kid like that, oh yeah, they're supposed to get 3 strikes or whatever, and after that first one, they look back at you like, was that it? Now you're like, oh, now I gotta put some elbow grease into this bitch because you want to be all big and bad.
Yeah, yo, that was me and my aunt. She said, "Oh, it's funny." Okay. Yo, like 3 turned into 27 SWAT. I was like, all right, you got me. You won. I'm on my knees. Word I was looking for.
SWAT.
I'm like, I'm crawling towards the door. Like, just get me out of here, son. You won. The war is over officially. D-Day is done. Damn.
Yo, man.
Yo, speaking of all this shit, like, speaking of just getting in trouble and shit, like, I'm thinking about how much of a crazy ass or wild ass I was, man. From like
I was about to say,
from like elementary to senior year.
them paddles really sucked, but I got a July 4th edition answer for y'all.
Go for it.
I got some of this.
First of all, we did not follow any safety rules in the past when it comes to fireworks and gunpowder related things.
Right, the guns,
So-
gunpowder.
Gunpowder and cardboard related stuff.
Like, yo,
Roman
what is he about
candles.
to admit? Was he about to
Shooting
admit?
Roman
Hold up.
candles at each other.
Yeah.
Bro,
Definitely.
on a skateboard.
Oh yeah, taping fireworks to skate.
Yeah.
Roman candle team deathmatch
You going faster?
and throwing firecrackers at each other. Trying to hold firecrackers as long as you can until it get to the
So it pops in the air.
yeah,
It pops in midair.
just all the
Oh man.
super dangerous. Like I've had fireworks like burst in my hand. Like it felt like it could have, my finger could have came off, but it really didn't. But I could kind of imagine how it feels.
Yeah, man.
due to all my pyro experience, training or
Yeah.
experimentation.
I'm the same, man.
Now,
I
Mark-
love me some fire.
Yeah, Margo, I gotta say, I think you got the most like vulnerable but indestructive hands I've ever seen in my life.
Oh man.
Because I don't know if you care about me telling the sled story.
Oh no, man.
We used to sled a lot and all that kind of stuff because we lived in the hills, and so we would find these damn near mountainous hills to
Yeah, I love those hills.
Extreme sledding.
to sled down. And so I remember this particular day, we were on that one behind not behind Aaron's house, but like behind
Neighbor's house.
a neighbor's house. Yeah, thank you. And what was it? We got into the I remember Marcus being like, my hand kind of hurt. It was, it was. Did you even fall down the hill? Like I think
it was a freak accident. Well, it wasn't even it was just a realization. Like
yeah, we didn't even see anything go wrong.
But no, I was carrying a sled, and this particular sled, it was like a hard handle or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And I was using it to like climb up the mountainous hill. It was like all kind of trees and stuff, shrubs or whatever. But I was using the handle to climb up, and somehow the whole sled bent back like this. So it like put pressure on my hand, but it fractured the middle finger metacarpal, like a spiral fracture or whatever. But I didn't know at the time, and
yeah, we were all like freezing fucking cold. So
right.
Who knows how like actually numb it was? Because I remember you didn't even have. If memory serves me correct, I think you had on like maybe one of them like those gloves made out of like childhood dreams and like just the thinnest fucking cotton material.
Yeah, with like Charlie Brown or something on
that
it.
like knitted glove that ain't holding any kind of heat in. And I just remember you being like, yeah, man, my hand kind of hurts. And we finished, we wrapped up, we went back to Aaron's house and he took his glove off and it literally looked like he had a softball in the middle of his hand. And he was looking at it like, man, I don't think this is okay. Like it was no kind of reaction like,
it was like a numb type of pain. Like it wasn't like it was a spiral fracture. It wasn't like
broken. Yeah. But yeah, that I don't know why that made me just think of that when you with what you brought up.
But I remember like asking Ken.
Yeah.
Like I guess he gave me like a professional type of review or whatever. He was like, "Oh, I don't think it's broken really," and I took his opinion very seriously, just because of his expertise.
Yeah, man.
In real life,
in life,
we treated Ken like he just knew it, like he was a sage, like he just knew everything.
Yeah, man.
I'm not saying this. I'm not saying it's his fault, but I just
No,
like
no,
I didn't
No,
go
no,
to the
no.
doctor for literally 2 weeks.
Oh wow.
Yeah, 2 weeks
Okay.
after that happened.
Yeah, I'm a smack king when I go back up to the crib in about a month or so. I'm smacking
I
right
just
out.
thought it was heal, like, I thought it was like bruised or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
Mhm.
But after like 2 weeks, I will do certain movements and it'll have like this pain that I really never felt before. So I'm like, I think something is actually wrong.
Yeah.
See, dog,
Yo.
I think I used to do that shit too. And like, it's because Ken will break his leg completely in half and then just continue running or like keep working. That's why I just be like, anywho, I was about to like bring up the whole like the time he was. I hope you finished your thought, by the way. I wasn't trying to cut you
I
off.
got
So
one more point to make that
Yeah, go ahead.
the after surgery part was the worst pain. Like the surgery,
The
like the
recovery?
healing of the surgery. Yeah, like
Mm.
that was worse than anything.
Like while the stitches was in or the staples you had, like you said that was.
Well, I actually I had I still have like a plate over
Mm.
this bone and screws. Like I believe it's like 2 or 3 screws. It doesn't hurt anymore, but when I took the cast off or whatever, like he forced me immediately to bend my fingers, and that hurt so bad. Like after not using, because I had a cast up to here,
Mm.
so I could do like this. But as far as this was the most painful thing besides
wow.
being food poisoning
Damn.
from the school hamburgers. But
Yo,
Mystery meat.
that was like the worst pain ever, man.
that's why I only
And a
showed
root
up to that
canal.
fucking.
That
Yeah,
sucks too. But
I only showed up to that lunch line on Nacho Day, son. That's it. That's why.
Yo,
I couldn't go to sleep off of that, man. Like I was in the bed, like, please, like, why did you do it?
Admittedly, with as horrible as our school lunches used to consistently be, I never had that experience.
Yeah.
Why when you feel in pain, like you hate that other people are lounging and just watching TV?
Because you're like, yo, your life
Like,
should
do something.
your life should be okay with me being in this much pain.
You just gonna watch TV?
Cry for me. Can't you see it?
Yo, the
Give me
first time
some
I got
water or something.
the first time I got real food poisoning, it was like I think I accidentally had like some red chicken or something like that from the water tower in Chicago. And I remember being at home, it was like 12:30, 1 o'clock in the morning. And I was literally in my bathroom at my dad's house, like face on the cold floor, because that's the only thing that felt good. Ass up in the air, screaming, "Daddy! Daddy!" Like, because I didn't get what the fuck was happening to me. And I was just like, yo, I'm in so much pain. And he was, and then he finally gets up like a half hour later of me screaming and just crying into the tile. And he's like, are you okay? And I was like, obviously, no. Why would you ask me that stupid ass question? And he was like, have you thrown up yet? And I was like, thrown? Like, as soon as the idea came up, like all of it immediately projectile. That's the first time I recognized projectile vomit as a real thing. And it was just a horrible experience.
Definitely done that
So
before.
yeah,
Bro.
Like you could see the vein popping out your head as you.
Yo,
as you
I wouldn't wish that on my worst enemy.
Bro, why was the bathroom floor the most pleasant place to be when you're sick like that, man?
Yo, drunk, food poisoning, that cold floor.
I would just get naked, son, and lay on. I would just get naked and lay on the floor, man. It was so comforting.
I ain't gonna lie, I had it coming out both ends when I was when I had
be
food
like
poisoning, man. It was tragic.
Yo,
but I think Aaron was
yeah, Aaron, you had a thought. My bad.
Oh no, it's cool. I think I cut Marcus off, so I apologize for that. I'm sure it'll happen another 60 times in this episode, but I apologize. Thinking, bringing up Ken just made me think of when he built that skate ramp for us.
Oh yeah, he did that shit in 2 days, and that was when we all went, "Oh, Ken can do anything."
Now the reason, I think that's why we just assume that we just take this motherfucker's advice.
Yeah, I was like, yeah, he a doctor.
Yeah,
He definitely is a doctor.
But then it brings me to something else that involves another castmate, another homie on this podcast, Mr. AJ. I think it was I think it was like a week or so maybe after he built it, I got my board taken.
Oh yeah,
in school.
Yeah,
and then I needed an accomplice
to
assist. Yo, who else could say they fucking snuck into principal's office and took a gang of shit? I'm talking about a skateboard, a duffel bag, two Colts, a Snicker bar, a mouse trap, some sheet metal and a fucking stapler just because.
Hey, that wasn't even just one time, because I remember going in there too before.
Yeah, man.
Getting stuff back. Like,
I remember Russell was like, yo, can you get my shit too? Yeah, I got all my juices and brownies. I gotta make this money.
Let's make sure we bleed some names.
Yeah. I figured he would.
He had a whole duffel bag of
bag of little Debbie's and Capri Suns.
But like, how do you? He got in trouble. I felt so bad, bro. He's the one who actually got in trouble at that shit. After he actually got in trouble.
Hey,
like, how often do you see a skateboard in the fucking office to not miss that, but you miss a big ass duffel bag?
She was probably eating the snacks. And
then when she realized, she was like, "Man, what happened to my treats?
My
oatmeal pies."
Stuff was missing.
Everybody who had the hustle game in
shout out to them.
I was a part of one of the stores before.
Yeah, I did it for like a week or two, and I was like, "This is too much work."
Yeah, we had a little.
I get that.
Who was that? Who used
Russell
to sell?
And Benjamin.
Yeah, the big timers was Ben and Neil. Like they were like top. They were like the Amazon
top tier.
That's how you really fucking knew we were at an art school. But nobody pushing drugs like that.
Yeah, it was
everybody was pushing. Wasn't nobody like, yo, I got the heroin, I got some herb. No, they were like, yo, I got fudge rounds, I got oatmeal pies, I got Capri Suns, I got the Kool-Aid jammers, them strawberry shortcakes. What you need, man? I got what you need. See,
yo,
Star Crunch,
were y'all
Star Crunch.
Oh man, damn, Star Crunch. Shit. Yo, were y'all there when Homegirl was selling the crunch bars, like the vanilla crunch bars and shit, the white chocolate ones? Was that before y'all got there? I think
that sounds familiar. Who was
she? Made a gang of money. Bianca.
Oh yeah, she used to sell stuff too. Yeah,
she used to sell those, bruh.
Yeah, I used to get was it Snickers? I used to say she used to sell all types of candy bars.
Yeah,
I think I used to get Snickers from her all the time.
Oh yeah, she was one of the stores.
Commerce.
If they had the
e-commerce,
Emerson Commerce,
Emerson Marketplace.
They had to close that creepy. Here's the funny statement about all this: if they hadn't closed that creepy lady's basement across the street, then they wouldn't have caused all of these internal businesses.
Yeah,
true. I loved that.
Yeah,
place.
I used to go there after school.
Yep. Motherfuckers was stealing and had to fuck it up for us, man. People were going in and steal. I'd be like, come on, dog. It's cheap. 50 cents. You don't have 50 cents? Damn. Put that lollipop down, you motherfucker.
It was that, and they started like crack down on anything that we all started to do like with frequency. They started to crack down on. Remember when we were the ones that found out that it was they weren't going to stop us from ordering food.
Oh yeah.
And so once we started ordering Pizza Hut and all of that, shout out to the Pizzone. Then everybody starts ordering Chinese food and Pizza Hut and all this kind of stuff. And then eventually they started cracking down on that because it used to be so folks' orders would come late, and so they be getting like the Chinese delivery dude walking into your math class trying to hand you your.
Hey man, I know I'm interrupting some of this shit, but whose is this, yo?
He's like, yo,
Yo, am I getting a tip? Come on.
Hey, multiply this tip up real quick.
Yeah.
Like kids can't even pass their geometry test. Meanwhile, they trying to figure out what 15% of their $8 meal was.
It's General Tso's chicken.
Talking about triangle, obtuse triangles.
Yo, speaking of the tipping and shit, man, like, have y'all ever? Well, maybe I shouldn't have. How like were you guys tippers, or did you guys ever encounter somebody trying to run off on the tip, or like run out on their meal? Or perhaps we shouldn't.
Not
I mean,
in my
it's been long
crowd,
enough.
like
Yeah,
not in our group, but I know my wife. She tells me this story all the time. That she was out with a bunch of people from her class, and they went like to beat ups or something, and then people were like paying like dimes and quarters because they didn't have the money, so they were like really like scrounging up change, or people
That's
just straight
crazy to
didn't
me.
pay at all. So
that shit crazy to me. I never did. Like, okay, that's why I asked. Because
I think I ran
know,
out of Steak and Shake before.
I was just about to say, I know none of us ever did it.
yeah, I used to be too scared to.
Yeah,
I mean,
me too. Me too.
Especially just because all the restaurants we went to were always in suburbs and shit, and so
and too close to the crib.
I mean, it was just a thing of if shit happens in Gary, motherfuckers weren't really tripping on you. You know, it was dangerous, but it wasn't that deep. But if you do some shit in Portage or Hobart, then they come looking for your ass. Yeah. And so I was like, yeah, I'm good. It's fucking Steak and Shake. Like it's not that deep. This burger meal and shake cost $6. Like, come on.
And for me, it was more so like because we went to the same restaurants over and over,
over and over again. Yeah.
It's like I don't want to do this and then come back like next week.
Yeah, because those fries are too good, man. Shit.
Them shoestring fries.
We used to kill Steak and Shake.
Yeah, we was at Steak and Shake, and it was also because we were all night owls, and it was the only place that was still open.
Shout out to the Royale Burger.
Shout out to that what is it called? That patty melt.
Yes, that was my go-to.
I forgot what I used to get. I know I used to get shakes all the time. That strawberry and vanilla shake or something like that. I used to get that all the time.
I used to get some kind of cookie situation. But I don't necessarily remember I remember stupid things I used to say and feel as a kid and all of that. Like it came up on Facebook the other day and it made me think about it. A stupid belief I had was something that shout out to elementary school gym teacher.
Miss Hazelette.
Miss Hazelette.
I saw her like maybe a month or two ago at Popeyes.
Word.
Yeah.
Hey.
She was OG. I really used to enjoy her, even though she would like say a lot of fat shaming shit back in the day. Like when Big Pun died, she was like, I mean, she said, "Are y'all surprised?" So she was a little ruthless about shit, but she also told us like even inactivity could be used as burning calories. So she was like, even if you stand still, you're still burning. And I was like, I said that to Walmer one day because Walmer was fat. And so I was like, yo, man, if you just be still, you could lose some weight too. And I now know that's not true at all. But because my teacher said it, and I considered like her mad gangster. Like I was like, yo, any woman that lives her day in tracksuits with a Jerry curl religiously
to this day,
that's a gangster ass woman in my opinion.
Because I saw her just a month or two ago. She still had a Jerry curl, still in her 80s sportswear. She's not letting that movement go.
I kind of respect the longevity.
Yeah. And she don't look that different either. I mean, she aged well. I mean, she's a gym teacher, so
she was always an active person.
Yeah,
even beyond
she
her
was inspirational with the jump rope.
Jump rope for heart.
Jump rope for heart, man.
Heart, man. She was getting our hearts right.
Yo,
I remember in elementary school in Nobel Elementary, we had a little. I think after everybody had gone door to door for however long and tried to like raise money and shit, we had some like jump rope competition in the gym, and like a bunch of students and like teachers were there. And I went up there one time with some motherfucking dress suits and dress socks and like and like a fucking like an actual an actual basketball suit on. Like, so I had the jersey and the fucking shorts and shit, but I didn't have my gym shoes. So I made a complete fool of myself by walking in there with pretty much a Nobel Elementary basketball uniform and then some Argyle socks on. And some fucking penny loafers, bro. I wish you could get a fucking picture of that, dog. Talk about making a fool of yourself, bro. That shit. And I definitely didn't win, but go figure.
Yo, speaking of making a fool of yourself, so the story I came up with was a basketball incident. Adam, you were there for this. So embarrassing story on my part. Me and a young brother with a very similar last name were having some basketball controversy in the midst of a like 3-on-3, 4-on-4. It was a half court situation. And in the midst of it, he kept on trying to say like I was sorry and all that kind of stuff. And I was like, yo, but I got more points than you. What are you talking about? And so in the midst of all of that, I remember like not really even talking shit like that and going, yo, you know what you could really do? You could kiss my and then I ran into the volleyball pole.
I remember.
And, like right at the moment that I was about to say ass. And the way that I bounced back up to try to prove that I hadn't been hurt, but was excruciating pain.
That's always important.
Yo, you can't stay down.
Commit.
You can't stay down. You already about to get clowned for running into the pole because I was not looking at all. Didn't see it there.
The adrenaline is gonna make you pop back up anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Like, hey.
Yeah, I really do. Like, come to think of it, I really do wish we would have taken the fucking volleyball net down before we start playing basketball, like at lunch and shit.
Yeah.
Usually we did. I remember.
You know?
Like, get this shit out here.
I think that was just like. I think that was just fate for you that day, dog.
It was under the whole balcony thing, so it wasn't like breaking the court in half or whatever. But I just went too far over, wasn't paying attention, and so it like caught my shoulder, and I like went like I you know how like an orchestra conductor like faps the bottom of his suit jacket. Like he faps it back. Like that's how I fapped on the floor.
Rubber band, man. Taliban. Am I right? 45.
Oh yeah. That was one of those like stupid ass moments that controversy got the best of me. And yeah.
I feel you, yo. I speaking of like, I know we spoke about pyro, like being pyros earlier. I caught the steps on so I had steps on my old house leading up to the screened in porch. Y'all remember that with the balcony and shit. Mm-hmm. I caught those steps on fire as a kid, like broad daylight, playing with fire. I think I was just fascinated, man. I was burning leaves, and I was fascinated by it. And then I held the leaf in my hand too long, so I dropped it. And then when it dropped and hit the other leaves that were seemingly perfectly ready to create a blaze, they were just waiting for me to drop it. This shit went from like 0 to 1,000, and then maybe like a minute or so, I'm trying to like stomp it out. My aunt comes out once, first time. She says, "What is that? You smell that?" I was like, "Oh, I'm making up lies and shit." Like, yo, the neighbors are cooking. Don't worry. You know, they barbecue. Yo, you know they be burning shit all the time. They can't cook that. The second time, are you sure? The third time, she sees the fucking blaze through the window. Like,
trying to kick it out.
Yeah, I know it. Yo, I'm doing jumping jacks and everything on that motherfucker. Yo, I'm running in place. I'm trying to get some exercise in the meantime.
She probably thought you was burning alive while you
I
stumping it out.
All she said to me was, "Get in the house, grab the belt, and wait for me." That's literally it. So she puts the fucking fire out, and there's like black, I don't what's it called when it smolders, like there's black ashes and shit, and all kinds of shit all over. I don't think we ever actually fixed that until we sold the house, but she comes back in, and that leads into the story I was talking about earlier, where it went from like 3 swats to 27 very quick.
So Aaron brings up a fascinating thing that if y'all are cool with saying this, what's one of the worst beatings you ever got?
That one. I was jumping around, bro. It was, I mean, like she was trying to hit my butt, but she was, I mean, me like jumping around and shit and like and doing the Harlem Shake. She was hitting my shoulder, my back, everything. She was like, "You need to just sit still." And it turned from like 3 to 27, and I finally just crawled out sheepishly. I was like, "Yo, you won, bitch, but I'll get your ass next time."
That's funny.
Can y'all recall one of your worst? Can you recall one of your worst beatings?
I can't, because I mean I got so many. It's just, I don't know
Yeah.
what I don't know which one was the worst, but I will
pick a fan favorite.
I remember something with my grandmother. She had the Switch game. She had the Switch Bush, so she had some of the all-time greatest. She used to make us get the Switch. I'm sure. I'm sure that's a
old black traditions.
Yeah, you gotta get your own weapon to
psychological
get beat by
warfare.
That's when you learn like the thick one was the one you wanted.
But she really wouldn't let me pick a bad one. Like you had to pick, an exceptional weapon. I just remember one time throwing them away. So I think I will have to say the aftermath of doing that was probably my worst one. throwing the Switch away. That wasn't a good move.
Yeah. All right, I have a follow-up question with you.
Wait, hold on, because Adam had a thought.
Oh, my bad. Go ahead.
Also, I didn't just like throw it outside. I just like threw it away in the garbage, so it wasn't really very smart.
So for me, actually, I'm gonna tell you. I got like a story, like a fire. I actually have a lot of fire stories, but I'm gonna stick with one. That's not gonna incriminate me. So this one was kind of similar to Aaron's. Like I was on like the side of the house, and I had like like the match boxes, but like the bigger boxes, not like the match book, but the bigger box, like cardboard, with the where the whole side of it was a striking surface. So those are the best matches ever, because the wooden ones, it's a huge flame, and those are really fun to play with. So I don't remember every single detail of the story, but I do remember playing with the matchbox, and it was real hot outside, and I was dropping them on the ground, and then I was just like stomp it out like when it started to catch or something crazy like that. So I was doing that, whatever, and when I was done, I was like, okay, I'm going inside because I'm done. Maybe 15, 20 minutes later, we get a knock on the door, and it's my neighbor. Rest in peace, Mr. Green. But he knocks on the door, and he's like, and my mom answers, and I'm guessing he told her what he saw me doing. It was just playing with matches and dropping them on the ground. But what happened was the whole side of the house caught on fire. Not the house, but the grass.
Wow.
So, but I didn't realize that. But I guess that I don't know. I didn't realize it caught on fire, obviously. So I'm just downstairs playing or whatever while the side of the side part of the yard is on fire. And I guess he put it out himself because he just had a water hose and he put it out. But he told my mom that he saw me. My thing is, as I think about it now, I'm like, if you saw me doing this, why didn't you say something like, "Hey"?
That's what I was thinking.
Like,
why didn't you stop me? Put stuff on fire.
Yeah,
you just wanted to tell my mom.
Yeah, so I definitely got beat for that. I don't remember how bad it was, but I'm sure it was bad because my dad didn't play. I don't know if you remember my dad like that, but my dad is bigger than me muscle wise, and he's like 70 now, but is still bigger than me as far as muscle goes.
Wow. I haven't seen your dad in a very long time, but I do remember your dad.
And this was back then, so this is when he was probably like late 40s, so he's even in better shape. So and he had this one belt. You know how older men just keep stuff for a really long time, whether it's a wallet or a belt or whatever. He had this one belt that he had probably my entire childhood, this thick leather belt, and that's typically what we got beat with up until a certain point, and then when we got too big, he graduated into this evil concoction that he made, where he took this old section of water hose, and then he took like one part of it and then folded it over, kind of make a handle. So it's like,
Yeah.
and then taped it or whatever. So that's like the handle. So, but the actual, I guess, the striking part was what was a old piece of water hose essentially, and that crap hurt.
Wow.
Damn, son.
Yeah. And like I said, my dad ain't no little dude. So
that's when creativity just this is not what this was meant for.
Yeah. Could have been doing something a little more. No, go ahead, bro.
No, I just feel like old school parents are very creative in what they can use to.
I mean, he's what I get my creativity from, just in a different way. But like his ability, he's creative outside of that. Just his ability to solve issues creatively, I totally get that from him, 100%. Even though we're not blood related, I still learned a lot from him in that way. And how to like think like critically and creatively about stuff. But yeah,
that's awesome. I don't know if I know I met your mother a couple of times, but I'm not sure if I met your father. I can't remember.
Yeah, I mean, you might have seen him a couple times too, but I know he used to work until like 6, 7 every day. So,
Oh, word. Okay, gotcha.
Yep.
I remember when I discovered like holding a lighter and spraying some flammable thing.
Oh shit!
Yeah, that was awesome.
That was a moment. Like, flamethrower!
Did your parents so
running out of every aerosol?
after your ass whoopings, did your parents ever make you explain why you now tell me why I'm doing this? Tell me why you deserve this, and then my aunt would like force a hug on me.
Yeah,
nah.
Now come give me a hug after I just beat the shit out of you. Come give me a hug.
I wouldn't get a hug. I definitely get a hug, but they would say they would often say this is gonna hurt me more than it's gonna hurt you.
Yeah.
And I was like, how?
Yeah.
But now I get it. I get it now. But back then I was like, what?
because it's the thing of you know they don't want to actually inflict physical pain on their child, but you're like physical pain and the mental stress that you may be mental duress that you may be putting yourself under are not equal.
Yeah, I'm like, you don't know how hard you're swinging. Like, you swinging this shit like you're Terry Crews, and you're the like opposite of Terry Crews. Like, yo, I don't know. And then she, like in the middle of it, she'd be like, "Now tell me why you deserve this." Like yo, tell me what you did to deserve this. And I'm like, after the ass whooping, we're in the middle of the ass whooping. I can't do that. I can't think critically. You know what I'm saying? I can't. It's just wild. And then we do the hug session.
I just want to point out I want to point out the unintentional multiple what's the word I'm looking for? Entendre that you just went through, because you said wielding it like Terry Crews, and we know that just means strong, but also to provide an explanation to something that's obvious, because Terry Crews keeps saying things that point out that he's a dumbass. And so I just want to point out that's a brilliant double entendre that you didn't mean to say. And genius, unconscious genius.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Fuck Terry Crews.
I'm going with it. I'm gonna go along with it.
Love to Terry Crews because I love Brooklyn Nine-Nine, but also fuck Terry Crews because somebody needs to stop him from saying stupid shit.
He's been on one several times.
Yo.
But anyway.
I'm trying to think. Oh, yo, it worst beating that I can think of. That I can think of was me and my brother. We would occasionally get into fist fights, and fist fights didn't last long because he was always just stronger than me, even though I'm technically kind of bigger than him. I'm taller than him, but he's always been stronger than me. He would do this. He would do like an elbow drop forward jab motion that would just take me out every time. It wouldn't matter. It would literally. It was like a special move in like Street Fighter. Like, yo, it was nothing I could do against it. No matter what punch I was swinging, he would just bow, and like lay me out every time. And so this particular one time, my mom was like sick of it. And so she goes and grabs the belt that I'm pretty sure had to be like, I don't know, the length of the length of Titanic, because she swung it out of sight. She did the way the room was set up. Y'all, it came from around the corner. Y'all remember how the upstairs was, and like my room was the one around the hallway.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I do.
She swung it from the other side of the wall, and like, I guess she just like wanted, like she curved the bullet because. And I don't know if it was because she was like, I don't really want to hit y'all, so I'm gonna just swing it at the wall. And she didn't realize how close I was to the door, and so she swung it around the wall, and I got like lashed across the back to the point where I recall the living experience of all my ancestors, and I felt like I had a whelp, and blessedly it didn't. Like there's nothing, like there was no mark left on my back, but I felt like that was like the worst. That she just swung from around the corner with no kind of what's the word I'm looking for? Regard
human life.
like no regard for what was on the other side. You can't even see what you're swinging at. And she was just like, you know what? Whatever I hit is what I'm a fucking hit.
Damn, man.
And so, I used to have them blocks. I used to have them.
What's really funny, as you made that motion, all I thought of was a Ludacris video.
Bro, oh man, I'm like coming up. I don't want to say ashamed of myself, but as we tell these stories, I'm thinking about so many dumbass things that I did that like I'm like, damn, like one after the other. What was I? Like, I was on a fucking dude. I was on a roll in the worst way.
That's the thing. When you're a kid, it's literally that thing that you're going to do dumbass things. It's almost unavoidable because you're a dumbass. That's really. I teach kids. Literally, all the kids that I have like taken under my wing, that I'm like, they call me Baba, which is father in Swahili, and all of that kind of stuff. Literally, I can go to any of them, and or you could, and you can go, hey, what's the family motto? And they'll go, real places go real places, which is like a thing that like to tell them how to transition inside of dance. And then they go, don't be a dumbass. Because I say that to them so often, because they'll come to me and go, this thing happened, then I did this, and then this happened. So a girl came to me and was like, hey, I saw you talking to my boyfriend, and so I want to fight you after school. And so I punched her in the mouth because I wasn't waiting until after school, and then I got suspended. And I was like, so let's look at the series of events. Where did it go wrong? The dumbass thing was she told you. She could have kept that to herself. Also, you didn't have to punch her in the mouth. You could have just said no. But it's that literally the thing of like process of decision making, pretty much. Critical thinking and decision making.
I was about to say, I feel like punching them in the mouth right then instead of waiting was like a quick way to solve the problem. It was like quick, like critical thinking. You know, it's like, yeah, let me just solve this. Let me just solve this from point A to B the straight way instead of waiting a couple hours. Let me just get this shit done right now.
It's hilarious, but I'm also like, you're surprised you got suspended.
Yeah, that's the funny part. Oh man, so many, you actually brought one which I should be probably ashamed of now, but like in regards to fighting my older brother, y'all all met him, much bigger than me, athletic, and I feel like we used to, kind of verbally go at it all the time, just because I used to wild out, man. But this particular time, and here's the thing to like provide some context. I feel like at least growing up, your family is who you could be your worst self with. You could, you know what I'm saying? Like you could like I could say all kinds of shit and it'd be like, I'm gonna still get my blueberry pancakes tomorrow. You know, I mean, I'm like when you're angry and shit. I'm saying, you know, you let that side. At least I would let that side of myself out and let it fly and be visible more often than like school or something. So like nothing was. What is the phrase? We didn't pull any punches. There we go. And I don't even know if I should say this. It's just like shameful, man. But I just remember the one time that my older brother Brandon knocked me out completely, clean, completely unkind, knocked me out. We were like going at it, and it probably started with like video games or something, but like, video games would turn into some real life shit. It was not just a game. It was like, all right, I'm about to make you cry. Like, I'm about to bring up shit that happened 2 years ago just to make you cry. You know what I'm saying? And I think one of his friends had like committed suicide or something. And I brought that up, and he like paused the game and gave me that right hook, and I just laid flat. I just lay flat on the pillow. I just laid flat. Yo, I just laid back on the bed. It was gone for who knows how long, man. I woke back up and was like, I'll never do that again. And that's all it took. He knocked me clean out, yo. Clean out.
Haymakers.
Yeah.
Haymaker.
And like, I'm pretty sure I just
like
let him play the rest of it. Yeah. I'm pretty sure I let him play the game by himself the rest of that night. I was like, I'm just chill.
That shows you how he was looking out for you too. Because he chose to lay you out where you could be comfortable in your unconsciousness.
And perhaps sleep a little bit longer because perhaps I needed it. You know what I'm saying?
He could have waited till y'all was in the driveway or something, let you in the middle of the grass. Could have been anything.
Yeah, man. It was just a crazy thing because his friend was like drunk driving in high school. And so, you know, it was a wild moment, man. So,
damn.
You just brought that up. And I was like, I definitely have been knocked out cold completely. It was shameful, man. Crazy.
Is that some and not to take it to a turn toward the heavy, but
I wasn't trying to, my bad.
No, it's fine. We because that kind of can lend itself toward a vulnerable moment, and we can keep this light. We can diverge from it. Have y'all had any experience with suicidal thoughts, feelings, people who have committed suicide, anything like that?
I've definitely not recently, but I want to say before I had some type of life change around like late 2011, I was definitely asking myself like, yo, is this shit worth it? For sure. That for sure was happening. Not like every day, but when I allowed myself to spiral, those things definitely did happen for sure. No doubt about it. Yeah.
AJ, Marco?
I never really had those serious. I feel like I've been depressed before, but not at that point. But yeah, I definitely. I think more people than we know actually had those type of thoughts. So I definitely try to offer people like some type of just to be there, you know, just to talk with them or whatever. But I never really have had those personally. But yeah, I don't think that's something to be taken lightly, man. People.
Oh no, not at all.
Yeah, that's definitely a serious matter.
Because I don't know if we've ever had this particular conversation, and like I said, Balmans, we ain't got to have it on air. But not to force a vulnerable moment or not to take us into a heavier space, but because Aaron brought it up and it just made me think about how I don't know if I've necessarily ever asked y'all about if y'all experienced that. Because for myself, I have. My whole pubescent time was full of those feelings.
So are you saying you would come to school feeling that way, or was it like, did it happen
all the time?
But like, was it? I don't want to say what the catalyst. Maybe that's not the right term, but was it like maybe going through stuff at home and you bringing it to school, or the opposite, or both?
It was never really anything about home. It was really about social life. For me, inside of what that depression was. Because I had, it wasn't even like low self-esteem. I had like negative self-esteem. In regards to my relationship and interactions with women, with the women around us and all that kind of stuff. I did not think highly of myself whatsoever. And because my interactions with people were always in that regard, romantically, in the romantic dimension, they were always kind of on the negative side. I didn't have that dimension of love for myself. I knew that I was a decent person, even though I had a whole lot of fucked up shit just due to social programming. I knew I had great friends. I knew I had a great family. Me and my main brother didn't really have a great relationship growing up, for whatever reasons. Even though we're great now. So I remember even thinking like, if I go, he'll be cool. Like he ain't really trying to have me around like that anyway, so it's cool. In which I know that that's not true and all that kind of stuff, because we even had a moment where we got into an argument over like video games, something like that. And I remember saying some stupid ass thing like, if I took myself out, then you wouldn't even have to worry about going through this with me. And I would like ran away crying and all that kind of stuff. And I remember he ran up to me and he punched me in the jaw so hard that I left my feet. And I assume this is what Dragon Ball Z characters felt like when like they went into the next dimension or whatever. Cause and he was just like, don't ever say nothing that fucking stupid again. And that was like, for me, that was the first time I recognized like, oh shit, my brother actually cares about me.
Yeah.
Like in besides the obligatory ways of you care for family. That was the time he like actually showed that to me. So and not to be on my own put myself there, but I was just curious as what y'all experiences were like that.
Oh, bro, that's
for me,
wonderful.
Well, like for me, like because I'm weird, I guess. In my my relationship with the ideas of death aren't. I don't have a fear of it, I guess. So
Same, actually.
For me, it's like I've thought about it, but not like I'm gonna do it. It's more so like I wonder what if, like what the outcome would be as far as people that I know. More so like how would it change? Because it's gonna change somebody's life,
Mm-hmm.
I just thought about it in that way, like, and then I would think about like, well, at least I don't have to pay bills anymore. And then I would think about the positives, like, well, I don't have to do that anymore.
Yeah.
And I know that's a terrible way to think about it, especially.
I don't think it is. I don't think it's terrible.
I mean, I'm saying that people that are listening to this, maybe they have somebody in their life that has done that, and then so I don't mean, so for people that are listening, I'm not taking it lightly whatsoever.
No, not at all. Yeah.
I'm just saying that for me, when I think about it, I don't think about it in that way. I think about it like, I wonder, like if I do go, is there heaven? Is there hell? Because I know I was raised in church, but I don't necessarily go anymore, to be honest. And I don't know. Honestly, I don't know what to believe, to be quite honest.
Bro, I just want to say something real quick. Like you bring up a good point, because like that's how I view it now. I'm more so curious, about, especially even like how I was conditioned to believe certain things in the first place. And like if I wasn't like to fear death, or for it to be such a huge thing, like if I wasn't conditioned in that way, who knows what my relationship would be? It would have been more like it is now earlier on. I wouldn't have suffered as much if I didn't have this idea that I had of death in general. I feel like it was rather unhealthy. You know?
I mean, death is
Yeah.
one of those things that you're just taught to fear because you're taught to fear, conditioned to fear anything considered unknown. For
That's right.
anyone who's listening, I'm
That's what
making
I was
air
about to
quotes,
say.
and it's literally that thing of. I was having this like debate with my mom a minute ago because we were arguing about my stepping away from Christianity, the Christianity that she raised me inside of, and love and all power to her and the wonderful job she did raising me and my brother. But it was that thing of I was like, I'm not concerned about what happens when I die. I don't care. I really don't care. And here's the thing: no one knows. Not a single person, not one, has ever gone and came back and like, yo, they got Baskin Robbins over there. Like, no one fucking knows. like no one knows. And so here's the thing: why am I going to concern myself about this thing that is intangible and unpredictable when I can focus on the things that are right here that are completely within reach or at least feasible to conceive of? That's just my perspective anyway.
Well, Marcus, I feel like you were gonna say something, bro.
No, I was just gonna say like that. I agree with what y'all saying. That's how I look at death. Like I really don't. It's something that I want to learn more about. Instead of, I think that should be our goal, is to learn more about it, and instead of like these subjects that make us scared, we should actually. That's the whole point of like things that are unknown, is to, maybe the fear is because we haven't explored. Okay, like that was one thing that the ancient people of Kemet or Egypt
Mm-hmm.
or whatever you want to call it, like they really emphasize like how to die and like stuff like that. They had a connection to the afterlife that I don't think we really get. I mean, in some ways, like I feel like all type of ancient cultures kind of accepted death as a just another phase of
It was a
life,
transition. Yeah.
right? Because just the word death in itself is like a condition. Like we think that we wither away or whatever, but like I believe that, you know, anything with energy or whatever, we have consciousness. It can't just, we our consciousness doesn't die, I don't think. So
No.
that's a reason to not fear death to me.
Mm-hmm.
And all of the experiences and soul experiences and things that people and things that we interact with now, I think it's all connected to death, and whatever happens after we die is still all connected. So
Right.
it's no, you can't really want to run away from life. That's how I feel whenever I think about suicide and stuff like that. Is like, okay, I could take myself out of this situation, but I'm still gonna carry on that. However I thought about myself then, I feel like it's gonna carry on to wherever I go next. Like it may be brought on by physical attributes or physical conflict or interactions, like Josh said, like it was because of his interactions socially, that I don't want to speak for him, but I'm just saying, like paraphrasing, like
Mm-hmm.
that caused him to view himself differently.
I mean, here's the thing. I don't ever want to make it seem like I'm blaming people for how I viewed myself. It's self-esteem. Like you're the one in control of it. It was always a thing of based on my experiences and my kind of like innate love for context clues and deductive reasoning. I would go, yo, I'm always everybody's friend, but I can't get a girlfriend to save my life. And I feel like getting a girlfriend is going to validate me as a person and all of that kind of bullshit. And since it wasn't happening, I was like, oh, I guess I don't have value.
But
and it all led to those things until I got a better understanding of like who I am and how I
right,
can
so
exist and all of that kind of stuff. And so
I
it's
guess
young brain.
right. I guess what I'm trying to say, it was an internal battle.
Yeah.
It wasn't like nobody forced you. I mean, it was circumstances, but at the same time, the healing was a mental or internal thing. So
Mm-hmm.
wherever we take our mental, we still gonna have to deal with conflict. So
Right.
I always thought of it of suicide as you're really not giving up those things that you're hunted with. You just kind of taking it to the next place.
Yeah, I would. I mean, I don't know, but I would agree. Like that. That seems like it would be sensible for me. For me, uh, I think some things are best left to experience. you know,
Mm-hmm.
we'll know eventually.
I do have a quick question before
Sure.
we wrap up about suicide. Like
Mm-hmm.
when I was growing up, I think it was common. People still have this feeling, but I would say a good 20 years ago, maybe even 15, people would say that people that commit suicide are weak or they're taking the easy way out, etc. Like, how do you feel about that idea?
I think that idea is stupid personally. And I think people making those kind of statements toward folks when you don't live inside of their mental experience is not only irresponsible, it's extremely inconsiderate. I do because they're always saying that from the perspective of those who have to deal with that death, which is valid to a degree. At the same time, I personally, as someone who's been in it, can kind of dismiss it only because I can only tell you what my young brain was thinking at the time. I was like, "Yo, my parents will miss me, but people die." And to tell you a whole stack of what my young brain did, it was like this: niggas die every day. and it was that thing of like they'll miss me, but folks die, people get over it, and the I really truly believe to some degree to this day that people don't really care about dying. People care about how long your memory gonna last.
All right, now I do agree with that. I think that because like from my experience, all you know of that person is your experience of them anyway. So when they go,
Mm-hmm.
you know what I'm saying? So when they go, you're like missing that, or which I'm not saying
Mm-hmm.
is necessarily a bad thing. It just seems like it's the case. Now, in regards to what Adam said, I feel several things, but this is the thing that comes up with enough words for me to actually speak on it coherently. but without, sometimes you just feel some shit, it's some more. It's like, but this is what comes out. This is what comes out. But I do think, and I've seen this, I'm saying this from experience of having, I guess you can call them suicidal thoughts or definitely questioning, um, is it worth it? Why am I not where I feel like I should have been at this point in my life? I'd rather just dip. Um, I saw, eventually I did ask myself the question, like, I recognized that there was ego in that. So
Mm-hmm.
like, I remember laughing at myself one time saying like, I'm I'm acting as if life just chose me to be an asshole to and to suffer and no one else is going through shit.
Mm-hmm.
That's the whole suit. That so when somebody says like, "Oh, it's ridiculous. You're a pussy. You're a coward or whatever," I would never use that. That seems too degrading. But I recognize some ego in my suicidal thoughts or whatever for sure. To be like, I'm definitely thinking about myself way too much. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
I'm definitely caught in my own shit. Like, assuming that like life will specifically point me out to cause suffering and like nobody else.
If I may,
I just don't believe that anymore. It's not my
if
experience.
if, if I may, Aaron, my lady said something to me that I still find profound to this day, and I know I don't remember who the quote is from, so forgive me, whoever's listening to this. If you know it was you, shout out to you. Um, she was like, "It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you think you're the shit or you think you ain't shit. Your ego is the problem."
Oh yeah, I completely agree. I've heard the
And
quote similar ways of like whether you think you're right or wrong, you're right about it, something like that.
and so
So
it's
yeah,
literally that thing of like, yeah, that decision is made out of ego because whether or not you're thinking extremely highly of yourself, I've been on the opposite end of the spectrum. It took a lot for me to realize that most of those feelings and everything like that were completely egotistical because they were completely circulating me and in very little consideration of those around me. At the same time, at the same time, all of your decisions will always mostly affect you, and then everyone else is a bystander. And so it's that thing of I've never really necessarily thought of myself on this high pedestal. I have to work to bring myself to par.
Hmm. Yeah, I would agree with that statement for sure, man. That's definitely like my experience, more than not. Like I'm speaking with something that is like, as I came to that understanding of like, I even had to laugh at myself after crying and like being like, yo, maybe like I would it's definitely I would rather not deal with this right now.
Mm.
I might just go, or like, and then seeing it and recognizing like, and actually having a moment where I laughed at myself, like, yo, I'm assuming that my shit is the greatest drama of all time, and no one else, like life is just picking me out of, life is specifically picking me out. Like there's no balance. There must be no balance in the world, and I
That's
was just like ridiculous.
that's like how I felt like when I was depressed. I think the only thing that really resonated with me in my mind is that I I realized, and I don't know if this is for everybody, but I realized that it wasn't helping me to stay in that frame of mind. It was somewhat of me blaming things outside of me for my condition.
Me too.
And the only thing that gave me motivation was a sense of um that no one was really going to get me out of that except for myself. Nobody really cares. Not that people don't care, but nobody is going to care as much as you.
Yeah,
Nobody
You
people
know,
got their
can.
own
no,
mindsets
right?
and
Right.
their own
Nobody.
mind frame.
Right.
Yeah,
Nobody can actually care as much as you.
yeah,
Right.
I
So it's
agree.
like it. I realized how unproductive I was being. I mean, efficiency is not like a top priority when you're
I
depressed, but I think that was the ultimate realization for me.
Hmm.
think
So it was
realizing you
like,
had an option. Yeah,
right, like it
yeah,
was like maybe the option is making myself, like people say, pull yourself up from the bootstraps and stuff like that, and that's totally
Bullshit.
ridiculous.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's like a way to oversimplify something that uh it may seem complex, but it actually is kind of simple in that you can't take this too serious. Like whatever you're going through, you just, for me, it was realizing that we're we are kind of in the matrix, kind of, because we are bound by these specific boundaries and rules.
Hmm.
So it's like everybody has failed in this in this experience like many times. Like
Right.
we
yeah.
all we live in a time where our failures are magnified through social media, or I was reading this thing today where they had asked Joey Badass about council culture, and he said exactly how I felt about it,
Mm.
in the sense that it's just very stupid to think that or expect everybody to be perfect and have this high bar. Like
That's
it's
what I be
like,
saying,
can
man.
can we fail? Can we mess up and be redeemed? And
Hmm.
is like the magnifying glass on not even just celebrities now, is everybody. Is like, well, I mean, have you failed and became somebody else in that experience? Everybody has experienced
Right.
that before.
You know what? You know what though? I think like the challenge, at least now, is when something hits you personally, still being able to have that clarity, specifically when something hits you personally, and then
And
act from that clarity.
I remember when I was depressed, I was just like saying, like, to the universe, like, I want that clarity that Aaron is talking about. Like, when something that I'm doing that's out of place or is not in line, I want to know, I want that karma immediately. Like, I want to feel that, like, sooner than later, you know?
Mm-hmm.
I think that type of awareness is kind of like calming to me, to know that, like, okay, it's like what you get in, what you get out, what you put in to this world, you know? And I think that's very true.
And I think each time that situation happens and you get out of it, like and life goes on, you realize, oh shit, okay, I made it through again and
Yeah,
again. I made it through again and again.
yep. So
It's practice.
the more you deal with, like, instead of running away from it, the easier it becomes to just be yourself. Like, it's not serious. All of this seems very serious right now, but it's really not. I don't think it is.
Adams, you got any thoughts with this?
I would on that point, because for me, I feel like I'm not where I want to be right now, but I always think about, well, I mean, I'm good. I'm eating every day. I'm okay. So it's like, but one thing, my last point on all of this would be as far as the suicide thing, and because my question was like, do you think people are selfish, weak, etc.
Oh
when they
yeah.
commit suicide? For me, that used to be my opinion. Like, yeah, this person is weak, but this was like high school age, 18, 19, whatever. But now that I know so much about the human mind, it's like, I mean, for somebody to take their own life is like, okay, so like your mind, your body wants to stay alive, no matter what.
Yeah.
It's doing its best to keep you alive for as long as it possibly can. So for your mind to break down and reach that point of you're now comfortable with dying, and then you go and do it, I feel like there's so much had to go wrong for you to get to that place. And it's like, I don't think that person is weak or a coward at all. Actually, I'm not saying, oh, they're a hero or anything, but what I'm saying is like,
Right. It's still not.
it's
It
like,
doesn't necessarily mean the same thing, but yeah.
yeah, it's just like, no, this person really needed help and nobody was there for him. That's sad to me. It's like,
Yeah.
I feel so sad for people that feel like that was the option, because like I said, like your body, mind, etc., soul,
It's
like all of
about
that,
preservation, right?
it wants to be alive no matter. That's why, like, you hear those stories about like the people that like were stranded on like out in like the middle of the ocean for a week, and they survived, or those crazy stories like that. And like, that's all mental strength right there. It's like, so for that to break down, and then for people to go ahead and commit suicide is like, I mean, that's just, to me, that's an extreme condition. It's like, it's
And
crazy.
and even with that's all those thoughts are made with the assumption of what we consider normalcy, right? And because people have different cognitive functions, different mental capacities, different emotional capacities, different chemical makeups, etc. Like, no, there. How should I say? Normal ain't really normal. Like, there isn't really such thing as a normal, but we function inside of what society has conditioned us to believe as, oh, this is the basic way of being.
I mean, we
And
know that already by DNA. Like, it's
yeah, that's
different
what
if it is. Yeah, I know. I'm agreeing with you.
Mhm.
I'm just saying, like, just through what we know about, like, traits that's passed down. Like, I
Mm.
think, if I'm not mistaken, like, I don't want to really go back to the suicide thing, but like, those traits are in DNA too. I
I
think.
can't
Like,
necessarily. I won't say that for myself, anyways, because I don't know anybody in my family to ever had that experience. They could have. I don't know.
I don't know.
I think depression can be hereditary.
Depression
Yeah.
can be hereditary, definitely.
Yeah, and that
Well,
could lead to
That may be what you meant. I'm sorry if I
Yeah,
misinterpreted.
I think I meant that, but I think just from that point we can kind of conclude that people who are more prone to depression are more prone to suicidal episodes.
Mm.
But I mean, I'm just saying, like, sometimes we're talking about actually transcending that aspect, like overcoming generational curses and generational, things that are passed down from not only in our bloodline, but in our what we interact with.
Yeah,
Mhm.
man. I still see momentum from living a certain way or living from a certain space for so many years. I still see momentum in like the knee jerk reaction or the compulsiveness um, in my thoughts, actions, and all of that. I still see that shit. So, but I'm just more like like you spoke about awareness earlier. I just realized that I have a choice. I have another option now.
Yeah.
You know, and that's freeing, man.
And maybe we can talk about this at a later episode.
Yeah.
But you did make a good point. Like, and I know people absolutely hate when people blame stuff on slavery, but the
Mhm.
fact is that horror and that
Trauma.
trauma, that's what I'm thinking of. That trauma
Genocide,
and
all a lot of
PTSD, like that PTS that PSD PTSD, whatever, like that. Like somebody wrote this that somebody had to like study, essentially proving that people are still affected through hereditary, et cetera, purely based off of slavery, and it happened 400 years ago. So when people say, oh, it happened 400 years ago, yeah, there you go, that's exactly what I was talking about.
Yeah.
So
Yo, the energy of that for sure. I believe that for
Mhm.
sure.
and
But
for the
I love the idea. Like, I like to see when like to me, it just takes one person to like rise above just as an individual. And like, I would hope that that I wish we have more of those where people like rising, like being those wow cases or like rising above something and then it's inspired others. Be like, oh shit, I have an option. I have like it's humanly possible to rise above.
Mhm.
That's wonderful to see and hear, man.
And just to go off like what Adam was saying, I know we trying to wrap up, but it's like we getting deeper
That's too
into it. But
good,
like
man.
um like the system of slavery and that whole the genocide and all that stuff.
yo, fucking look, man. I'm about to black out the next 2 hours. Let's get into it, man.
I was about to say, like, they designed it that way, so it's
Oh yeah.
like it's more than a conspiracy. Is an actual thing. Like,
Mhm.
it's well documented that
It's not a
they.
conspiracy. It's just
Well,
fact.
yeah,
Yo,
conspiracy.
it's even. Go ahead. Go ahead.
I'm
Go
actually
ahead, Marco.
conspiracy don't really mean that it's false. People need
True.
to actually look
It just
into
it
what
just means that
conspiracy
there's
means.
it's highly speculated. But
Well, it don't even mean that. It just mean
really?
that
Okay.
Oh
no,
shit! I need
it
to
actually
look it up.
it just means that somebody is conspiring and and you have a theory about it.
Mm.
Or somebody may not be conspiring, but you have a theory about somebody conspiring against a certain whatever. So it's like you can be wrong. Somebody could be conspiring against you, but
Conspiracy, a secret plan by a group to do something unlawful or harmful, or the action of plotting or conspiring.
And then it's like everybody providing their ideas or beliefs about it without necessarily knowing. Is that what you're saying?
so it's a group of people that
Uh,
are
yeah, that are planning to do something unlawful or harmful, or because lawful and harmful often the same thing, and or the action of plotting or conspiring.
so I guess we would have to know the definition of conspire too, but
I mean, I do hate it when they try to define
like
shit
they refer
with
to
the
the
word.
actual the root word. But anyway, I kind of lost what I was saying through all of that.
Sorry.
Damn, what was I saying?
I
Before
can
that?
say the definition of conspire while you while you
Okay.
think of that. So conspire, make secret plans jointly to commit an unlawful or harmful act.
So the same
thing.
Well, I mean, it's a scientific fact that like energy can't be created or destroyed. So that energy from that, however long, is definitely still here. You know.
I think that's what we was just talking about.
I think that's kind of what like,
the whole design of that for trauma in the future. They designed it for us to still have these dampering qualities that's not allowing us to rise to the level that we know we could be or whatever.
Yeah.
Is a conspiracy against that. I think that's been well documented.
I can't let this topic go without also providing something that has helped for me. That
like, you could,
scientific. Yeah, I could, but something fairly uplifting. That there are certain methods like that of meditation and yoga for individuals that are scientifically proven to alter cells and brain waves and all these and a lot of these things that we thought could not be altered for the better of an individual. So I do want to point that it's scientifically proven to alter in positive ways. People who we felt were once known to not be able to change, or it's just hereditary, it's just this. Well, that shit is it is possible now, and I just love that. I love when I find out that things are humanly possible now that I thought, or people thought I was told, or that I had the belief was not humanly possible. So I love having options and being aware of them. So I wanted to point that out, that it's a wonderful thing, And that's my take on it.
I'm gonna respect that and also negate it slightly, just because I'm like, yoga has never brought me calm or helped.
Well, you're not doing the right way. Allow me to introduce you to different forms. And
no, I'm joking. And for anybody that's just listening and not watching, the book that I held up, in case you were wondering when Adam was like, "Yeah, that's it." It's a post-traumatic slave syndrome. America's Legacy of Enduring Injury and Healing by Dr. Joy DeGruy, right?
I love her.
Yeah. I got to meet her a few months back because a piece that I choreographed got performed for one of her book signings. So she, her gorgeous ass daughter, literally handed me this as I like hugged her, and so brilliant book. And yeah. Go ahead, Marco.
Oh, never mind. I want you to finish.
No, I was done. Go ahead.
Okay. Is this, when y'all get the chance, like, is this thing called epigenetics?
Oh yeah. I don't know about that.
So it says epigenetics is the study of how the expression of DNA can be changed without changing the structure of DNA itself. Understanding what causes disease is essential to not only create treatments, but also to work towards a way of presenting the disease. Or they talking about disease in specific there, but like, it's just an interesting thing if y'all look into that. And there's this doctor called his name is Bruce Lipton, and he talked like about that in depth, and it's very interesting because we was just talking about that. Huh?
He make the IC.
I don't know what you mean. Oh, Lipton. Okay. I was not even thinking. Okay. Hey, that would be a nice little what Adam called it. That would be a nice
what is it called?
G Wiz information.
Gee whiz,
Gee
yeah.
whiz.
He wears information.
He actually made the tees.
And brisk.
Brisk,
Them old brisk commercials.
baby.
Yo, that came on right after that Celebrity Deathmatch. Remember that show?
Oh man, the greatest form of
Man.
claymation ever.
Yeah.
Besides Kazam on Nickelodeon.
Shout out to Chicken Run.
Oh, and
Yeah.
Chicken Run, right?
Yeah,
Chicken Run.
yeah.
PJs are pretty good too.
Oh,
And the
They were,
PJs.
yes.
Excuse
They were-
me. I
they were
have
great.
forgotten about the legacy of claymation in
hold on now.
Americans.
Jack Frost. We gonna go back.
Yeah, I was about to say that. The
Go
fucking
back
Rudolph
farther.
and the Christmas specials, man.
Yo,
Yeah.
Jack
Bring that back.
Jack Frost used to be creepy as fuck to me.
Yeah, he was.
Wallace and Gromit.
Yeah. I think that's a part of the Chicken Run thing.
That is Chicken Run was a spinoff of Wallace and Gromit, wasn't it? Was it the other way around?
I just know it's made by the same people. I'm not sure.
Same people. Word. Okay. Welp. This is the 6th episode where I ended in Welp.
I had the hard end there.
Side note, we're gonna come up with some merch that says forthright, vulnerable, and honest, or whatever, because of how many times or whatever is said on this podcast. And but we want to thank y'all for listening again. This is always fun. We started out in a light note. I took it in a bit of a denser and heavier direction, but it was, we had a conversation as it organically happened. So I thank y'all for indulging me. Again, if you enjoy what we talk about, by all means, you can always write in. If you think that we don't know what the fuck we're talking about, you're probably right, because who did research? And so, by all means, write us in, let us know the good, bad, the indifferent. We are welcoming all feedback until, the day that we actually get some traction and becomes internet trolling, and then we will tell you we don't want your fucking feedback. Until then, tell us whatever the fuck you want to. Write us at informillyhonestpodcast@gmail.com. I'm sure Adam is going to add at the bottom. Because he be on them graphics. And so we will thank you all for listening. Thank you for watching. To our YouTube community, don't pay attention to if it only says 5 views. That's your fault. Tell somebody about us.
I know we deserve more than 5 views.
Most definitely.
Hey, if each of us watch it, that means one other person may be watching. Come on, man.
Yo, when I see 11 views, I'm like, okay, so really that means 7, because that means the 4 of us watched it and 7 other people did. But
honestly, I don't typically watch it because I see enough of it.
You do the editing, so I get it. I get it why you don't. And we're not taking it. We're not taking for granted those of you who do stick with us. We appreciate all 9 of you. And so we want to thank you. And we're just trying to grow. So by all means, tell folks about us. Like, subscribe, follow.
Even if you're not feeling it, at least maybe it's not for you.
Be like, there's these dudes from Gary that just be talking shit about music and life and epigenetics. And, you can be like, hey, I didn't really get into it like that, but that might be something you into. So, check it out. Because much like most of the people that we knew in high school that told us they didn't like the brand of some of the hip hop artists that we listened to because it made them think too hard. So,
yeah, chances are somebody who finds this awesome. So just find that person and let them know.
All we just want to show our gratitude, and we want to ask you, share it.
Expand your mind.
Don't just listen to it for yourself. Share it. Okay, gifts are meant to be shared. And now I know that sounds mad arrogant because I call what we're doing a gift, but we're artists and we make fucking art.
We share
and we sharing it.
We took our time.
By all means, when's the last time you had a real conversation? Especially in this age where you can barely look people in the eye. Granted, this ain't completely looking people in the eye because I'm looking at my screen and not in the camera. But you know what I mean. Okay? And I'm not counting you irresponsible ass folks who are, throwing parties in your house and orgies and shit. Right?
As bad as I want to, man.
Yeah, President Trump holding a rally
that was crazy.
You ain't gonna get out of that one either. On Juneteenth in Tulsa,
In Tulsa.
the place that we just mentioned. That's mad disrespectful, man. On Juneteenth,
Acting like he didn't know. But
all them thousands of
He
people.
probably didn't. I guarantee you, it's one of his advisors because he's not smart enough to be like
and
creative.
That's
like
what
that.
I mean. Yeah.
It's one of his advisors. Like, let's do this.
I think it was intentional. I don't know if it came from his mind, like you said, but
Yeah, I don't think it came from his mind, but I'm sure it came from Stephen
I'm
Miller's
sure
mind.
that was a
brought
chess
it up
move.
and they went,
Or Stephen Miller, whatever his name is.
That was a chess move, man. But
no doubt. But again, you can always write us, give us your thoughts, give us shit to talk about, give us stuff to unpack, tell us that we are great or that we suck. Either one, it doesn't really matter, okay? Just know that if you tell us we suck, we're probably going to shout you out. If you tell us we're great, we'll shout you out too, but we will probably roast you if you're the former. And yeah, informally honest at informally honest podcast at gmail.com. Or you can follow us on Facebook at Informally Honest Podcast or Instagram at Informally Honest. We love you. We
catch us on the World
you.
Wide Web.
Hey,
www.
But you know what it is. 3 times. All right. Last thoughts, final words.
Stay tuned, y'all. More to come.
Yeah, thanks for following. If you're still following this late in the game, or this early in the game. Actually, I'm saying this early.
We still in the team.
Just getting started.
We in the pubescent phase of our episode log.
Yeah. Hopefully we ain't offend nobody. We love you.
It's never meant with the intention.
Don't be mad.
But by all means, if you're mad about something, tell us. Write it. We'll address it on a later episode. It might be like 6 episodes in the future, but I promise we'll get to it. Okay.
Yeah, I've been getting some flack for that.
Yo, I keep telling y'all, like I people will tell me stuff and I tell them in full conversation as soon as they go, like, hey man, you know what blank somebody said, I'm like, you know what you can do? You write us at Informally Honest Podcast at gmail.com because you telling me right now they ain't gonna make no difference with me. But yeah, we appreciate y'all. We are 4 brothers from the neighborhood of Miller Beach in Gary, Indiana, that pride ourselves on having candid conversation that is rooted in being forthright, vulnerable, and most of all, honest. Peace.
Peace, y'all.
Without shedding a tear for my brother, I really wanna try for my brother.
Like, just like Nardwuar. Just like the end of a Nardwuar interview.
Aaron,
hit the button.